If your technology is only an expense burden, there's something wrong, and that can be corrected. It is, and should be treated as an asset that generates a return.
Yeah.
What's the ROI? And
Yep.
in doing so, you get the NOI.
Yeah.
And that technology generates data.
Yeah.
And that data is even more valuable than what you paid for the technology.
Hey, welcome back, friends, to the Commercial Real Estate Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Caleb David. And today we're going to be talking about something that is on everybody's mind, and it's about AI. We hear it all day, every day, and I think a lot of us just don't know what to do with it. So today, our guest is Bill Douglas. He's the CEO of OpticWise. He brings over 3 decades of experience leveraging technology to solve complex business challenges. He leads the company's growth initiatives and drives technology solutions designed to serve the commercial real estate world. So thank you so much, Bill, for being here. I would love to hear a little bit about your story, kind of how you ended up in this spot and what you're doing. I think is very unique, very niche. And yeah, would just love to get to know you a little bit better and how you got to start OpticWise, and we can go from there.
How I got into commercial real estate.
Yeah,
First, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. I love what you got going on.
thank you.
How I got involved with OpticWise, I have been a lifetime entrepreneur. I've been in many industries, and I got out of a managed services business in 2015,
Okay.
exited that. And in between businesses, I consult with entrepreneurs. I'm the resilience guy. I help them run their businesses better and work less, earn more. Basically, I think we all work too much, like
Yeah.
beyond burnout. And I did an engagement with a company called OpticWise and gave them a go-to-market plan, strategic. And Drew Hall is the founder of OpticWise. I am not. I am the
Okay.
CEO, but Drew is the chief architect and the founder. And together we co-wrote the book, Peak Property Performance. I handed him the go-to-market, and he said, "I'm the technical guy. I don't do this. You want to do this?" Greatly compressing it,
Yeah.
but that was a 6-month engagement and discussion, and I fell in love with the business model because it was it's an old industry. Technology wise, it's an old
Yes.
industry. It's the largest asset class in the world. I believe it was right for change. I believe in hindsight we were a little too early. Drew had been in student housing, so I shifted to be multifamily and mixed use and office. So
Got it.
now we're in hospitality too, but that's what we focus on. But the premise of digital infrastructure control and owning the data flows out of your own asset being your
Mhm.
property applies across all asset classes, about all verticals within commercial real estate.
Yeah.
So that's the very compressed version about how I ended up in commercial real estate. And that was what, 11 years ago now. But
Okay.
I'm really, I learned a concept at MIT. I did grad school there.
Awesome.
So Georgia Tech didn't teach me this. MIT did. R&D, and it's rip off and duplicate. And I kid you not, that's what they called it. Of course, nobody wants you to steal anything, and that's not what I'm talking about. But
Right.
there aren't many problems that are genuinely new. So when you see a problem in an industry, go look at other industries and how they've
Yeah.
solved it.
Yeah.
And I owned and sold a managed services company. We ran large networks for medium-sized manufacturers and kept them alive no matter what, and kept millions of devices, computer-controlled manufacturing, millions of devices and data flows online 24/7.
Wow.
I looked at commercial real estate, and there's just as many sensors, but there's no concentrated data source. I
Yeah.
started trying, okay, we can solve this problem about efficiency and operation, about maximizing revenue, and together they increase NOI. We started applying, we literally sold off all the student housing contracts because they were just for internet or just for Wi-Fi.
Right.
And we got into doing this data and digital infrastructure work. And then we published the book last year because at a trade show, I talked about, do you think that Amazon would ever let, or you think Toyota would ever let another company put a network in their building
Mm.
they didn't own?
Yeah.
More than that, let them pull data from their own facility and their own customers?
Yeah.
No, but commercial real estate does it all day, every day.
Yeah.
So that's one of the core problems we solve. And then when the client has the aha moment
Yeah.
that they actually have data that they can use,
Yeah.
the utilities go down, insurance goes down, efficiencies go up, that maybe they don't have to increase their rent as much next year because they're making more money
Yeah.
and they could be more competitive in their marketplace and keep their occupancy nice and high.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's a
Yeah.
lot of tedious work, but it's we're a bunch of engineers. Like
That's what you
we like
do.
this stuff. Yeah. We like
So,
solving big problems.
so what are some of the problems that you found in commercial real estate where people weren't able to access their data? What can you explain that pain point, or not even main pain point? Some people may not even know they have this.
The pain point is not knowing what low voltage systems are in your building, because it's traditionally they just let an ISP come in and do internet, and
Yep,
they think anything, or they call it comms, right?
yep,
Telecoms, comms,
yep.
internet. And they're forgetting about all of the other operating technology systems in the building. HVAC system, maybe it's building automation and building management, your lighting control system, your access
Mhm.
control system, your elevator control system, yada, 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 right? And we go
Yeah,
down all of those you want. In the book, we give it away.
yeah,
You go audit your own facility. Here's
yeah,
the form. Just figure out what systems do you have, what generates data, and where's the data.
yeah,
You have to start with your own networks and your own systems. What's in your building? I'm
yeah.
shocked. Most of the time, they go to great lengths, these owners do, to make the building beautiful and
Hmm.
awesome. And they'll spend money on sticks and bricks and facades and glass and carpet and even scents and lighting. But
Hmm.
you ask them what's behind the door of that IT closet, and they have no idea.
Yeah,
That's the problem we solve. And then
yeah,
once you have control of that, then you can start asking what data is coming out of there, and what can I do with the data to make my business run better.
yeah. I love that. Why do you think, I know I've experienced this, and I think commercial real estate is one of the slowest adapting industries that I've ever worked and been a part of. What do you think it is that makes commercial real estate owners and or property managers so resistant to taking a look at this?
There's a very strong status quo bias. We are seeing that change because the baby boomers are either selling their portfolio or
Hmm.
handing it down to a younger generation. There was a time where if we did a presentation to a group back when they had to be in person, there wasn't a woman in the room or there wasn't a man under the age of 43, we didn't pursue it.
Yeah,
We'd make a really short presentation and leave because we knew it was done.
yeah.
And that's just because commercial real estate makes money. And
Hmm.
there's a certain point that is enough money. Is any additional money you bring me going to be enough to take the pain away or the perceived risk?
Yeah,
So that's the status quo bias.
yeah.
And technology expenses have come down, success has gone up, and now there's this boom of AI, and it's being
Mhm.
oversold, in my opinion. Every vendor that you hire at your facility is saying they're using AI,
Yeah,
and I'm certain they are. I'm not calling them liars, but what good is it doing you? Making them more money, and they're keeping the price the same for you. You
right.
don't have access to your own data. You
Yeah,
can't. If you have 10 systems running, that's 10 silos of data. You can't look between those systems.
yeah,
What are those silos? Excuse me. I know exactly how we take 5 silos of data and put machine learning between it. And then we'll say, oh, here's a way you can reduce your utilities 3%.
yeah,
Here's what the insurance company wants to
yeah.
see so that they don't give you a 9% increase next year. Maybe it's only a 1% increase.
And yeah, and
Here's some facilities use optimization that maybe your gym's not being used, or maybe your parking deck can be dynamically priced.
yeah,
There are ways you could drive revenue
yeah,
and reduce expenses. Both of them nail the NOI.
yeah. And I think, gosh, I think about it from a tenant's perspective. So if we've got any tenants out there and you're leasing somewhere, you need to go talk to your landlord or your property manager about OpticWise because I think this benefits you. It benefits the landlord too, right? It's a win-win
It
proposition
does
here.
benefit the landlord. If you're an office tenant and you go to rent a space, traditionally your employees and your company operated in that space. Why can't your network operate your network for your tenant,
Yeah,
like for your lease, operate anywhere on the facility
yeah,
with your firewall and your directory services? So any of your employees can work anywhere on the property,
yeah,
any floor, inside, outside, coffee shop, and they're still on your network and
mm,
your firewall
yeah,
behind your directory services and all of your security rules. They don't have the VPN from the coffee shop on the first floor. That's in
right.
an apartment complex. I could go visit your apartment 5 floors up on the other side of the building, and I'm still in my network.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could work from my employer's VLAN while I'm at the pool. Yeah, imagine that.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
people that I can't do that for compliance. I trade mortgages. Yeah, you can. Let's test it. And then
yeah,
all of a sudden, the Wells Fargo is approving all of their employees to work on this kind of VLAN
yeah.
behind that security
Love
set.
that.
That happened
Yeah,
during the pandemic. Like one of our clients was horrible luck, opened up a facility in March of 2020. It was full by August because Wells Fargo said we have to have people work from home. And then another securities organization did, and this, and they all got approved to where they could trade, see approved, where they could trade sitting by the pool. How's that
That's
for secure
incredible.
and compliant? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
everybody wanted to live there and their place was full.
yeah.
Didn't
Wow.
take 12 months to lease up. During the pandemic, it took 5 months to lease up 300 apartments.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
So
That's,
the owner was able to sell the technology features
yeah.
to attract the tenants.
Yep.
It wasn't an added expense. They
Right.
paid for it.
Yep.
Their internet was less than they could buy it themselves. And they had all these features.
That's incredible.
Mobility and privacy and security were the big three.
Yeah. So what is it that takes a landlord or an asset manager? What kind of pushes them over the edge that kind of gets them to say, okay, we need to do this? What is that thing
Um,
that kind of pushes them to finally act?
a great question. The asset managers, the ones that love the concept, are the ones that realize they don't have visibility into all of these siloed data sets without logging in and seeing a dashboard. They
Yeah.
don't have the ability to say, why don't my access controls and my lighting controls and maybe my, I don't know, my Wi-Fi system, why come I can't compare occupancy and figure
Hmm.
out what spaces in my building are getting used without putting in a whole nother network?
Yeah.
And then they realize, oh, wait a second. Like we see people renting out or donating even their gym during low times and
Yeah.
getting tax credits because they donated it to the YMCA for silver sneakers.
Right.
It seems silly. And then just by using some AI tools and looking down the street at the venue that has concerts 3 times a week
Mm.
or maybe a hockey game, you can figure out how to price the parking.
Yeah.
The capex is already included. Why is your parking $8 all the time when they're getting $25 down the street for the game?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
30 extra spots, charge them $25.
Right.
You do that a couple times a month and there's $3,000 extra
Yeah.
NOI,
Yeah.
and you're not ditching any of your tenants. So it's just some things are low hanging fruit. And then the asset manager will say, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But if they just look at what cell of what spreadsheet
Yep.
that expense goes in and
Yep.
it doesn't have a revenue attached to it,
Yeah.
then it's a no.
Yep.
So we constantly say, look, you expect a return when you buy a new countertop for an apartment or you buy a new carpet for that office building, you expect a return on it. You know it's going to increase the rent or attract a tenant.
Yep.
Why don't you apply the same methodology to technology?
Yeah.
You should. If your technology is only an expense burden, there's something wrong and that can be corrected. It is and should be treated as an asset that generates a return.
Yeah.
What's the ROI? And
Yep.
in doing so, you get the NOI.
Yeah.
And that technology generates data.
Yeah.
And that data is even more valuable than what you paid for the technology.
Absolutely.
Because that is going to help you improve constantly forever.
Yeah. Now, is that what you mean by owning your own digital infrastructure?
Yes.
Get to-
Yes, I do. Owning it. Like
Yeah.
I know you have to hire vendors to do these things. Like
Yeah.
you need one for your lease management system. You need one for
Yeah.
access controls. And I'm not saying don't get those vendors, but
Yeah.
the infrastructure that those vendors touch in your building, you should own. The ISP should not own it. You
Right.
should own it.
Yeah.
And then you should own and control the data that their systems are using.
Yeah.
It's your data.
Yep.
Their contract says it's your data. Why don't you have a copy of it? Why don't you have the right to analyze it? Why do you have to call each one of them and say, what does this mean to me? Because they are myopically looking in their vertical.
Yep.
They're all doing the best thing. That's why you chose them. But if you chose to change that vendor, how much would that set you back?
Yeah.
Probably nothing if you had a history of their data.
Right.
When
Right.
you trade your building, that data is worth a lot of money too.
Yeah.
So that technology is generating data, and that data is the untapped asset and revenue stream in commercial real estate.
I love that.
And then comes along AI, and machine learning's been around a long time, but AI has made it cost
Mhm.
and easier to use
Yeah.
for smaller companies. The bigs have been using it forever,
Yeah.
and smaller portfolios and smaller companies can now use it and apply it and get
Yeah.
massive returns.
Yeah.
It doesn't just move the needle, it changes the whole gauge.
Yeah. You've already talked a little bit about the fact that it does bring in there's income potential here if this gets utilized and implemented correctly. One of some of the notes I had from before we met is you'd said something about properly managed digital infrastructure can generate $500 per door or
Additional NOI.
additional NOI.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
just, it really, it's when we're in what I've seen, especially lately with interest rates and owners having to go back and try to refinance, they're looking for savings everywhere. And I think this happens to be a tool that should be looked at as,
Well, if our home runs are 4 digits, meaning 1,000,
yeah,
but if you can't get $300 more per
yeah,
door NOI, then you're missing something. And
yeah,
that's in a retrofit environment. New
right.
build, I would say the bar is 5 to 600.
Wow.
And if you really do it right and you're willing to look at digital architecture, just like you would your structural
Hmm.
architecture or your MEP plans
Yep.
and design,
Yep.
if you're really willing to look at it early, you can get 1,000.
That's
We do
pretty
it.
incredible.
I'm not
Well,
making these numbers up. And in the book, The Peak Property Performance, there are case studies, and all of the data
mm,
was verified by Fast Company, the publisher. It's
yeah,
all real data, even though the two main characters are fictional, so that the clients didn't have to divulge
sure.
like the exact property. The
Yeah.
data is all 100% true, verified by Fast Company.
Yeah, I encourage our listeners to definitely go get a copy of that book. I know I'm probably going to do that as soon as we get off here as well, because I think this is super interesting. And I think with commercial real estate being lagging behind, and I recently joined Keller Williams after being independent, and I was just blown away by how just some of the small, what I thought were small things and the technology that they offer and the infrastructure that is there, how much more productive I've become. And my time is now released to go do more deals instead of managing data and trying to, like you said, going to the
Yeah.
vendors, what about this? What about that? And I think commercial real estate owners need to really start getting into this. And I think you're exactly right. There are a lot of people that now are starting to exit their properties. A lot of people don't, their kids don't necessarily want to manage a building and deal with all of that. They're like, just sell it and give us the money, right? So,
Well, last year was the wave of AI, right? We heard
yeah,
AI. Now, I believe 2026 is just going to be the wave of agency or the agent. I see, I do this with an agent, I do that with an agent, and all an agent is a bot
yeah,
that does a task for you. So I challenge you to go 5 years down the road and think about your building as being autonomous. It's way beyond smart because you've programmed it. There's
yeah,
really no smart to it. It's a million if then loops together. And in your conversations, you said, if this happens, I want this to happen.
yeah,
And you build that repository of information over time, and then the building becomes able to make decisions on its own. That's
yeah,
autonomous. It's not
yeah,
smarter than us. We're transferring our knowledge base into a machine
yep,
that takes inputs from
yep,
thousands of sensors on your property and millions of data points it's generating and figures out the best way to optimize it. So
yeah,
5 years from now, you will still have people involved in the business, but there will be a lot more autonomous activity. So
mm,
building will be making decisions based on your goals.
yeah,
Every property is different. Every owner is different. Every market is different.
yeah,
And that's why there's not just one plug and play answer. There can't
right,
be. And sometimes you buy an asset and want to change it. So you're
yeah.
going to change the algorithm and make it go a different way, or you're going to do a capital infusion and shift it to a different operating model.
Yeah. How many, obviously you've been doing this for some time and you've seen the success happen, but how many, like what percentage of portfolios are ready for this?
How define ready? You mean physically ready or emotionally ready for the change
I, I,
management?
yeah, I would say probably more the mental and the emotional ready.
This is Bill's wild guess, less than
Yeah.
5%.
Wow.
Less than 5%.
Wow.
It's a massive market. And
Wow.
we love talking to people. We have a lot more conversations than we do sales engagements because most of the time people just admit they're not ready and they do end up calling back when they are,
Yeah. Yep.
but their noise is coming at them so fast. The hardest thing is to do just sort out reality. So
Yeah.
that we just try and say, what are your goals and what do you have to work with? Not
Yep.
what money do you have to spend, but what is your asset?
Yep.
Like, where is it? What's it producing? Let's do a review of your digital infrastructure and see where you are.
Yeah.
Are you ahead of the curve, behind the curve? Where do you want to be in 2 and 3 and 5 years? What are your goals?
Yep.
Sometimes it's not worth investing in everything to make it digitally controlled, but there are 3 to 5 systems that would move the needle away and
Yeah.
pay for the rest of it. So maybe you do one at a time, a year
Yeah.
over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people want to dive all in, but those are the people that just bought the property and have capital to make a big change. And they're changing property managers all at the same time. So the change management is really not an issue.
Right.
But if you're dealing with a brownfield asset and change management is an issue, then go at your own pace.
Yeah.
But start with something. Pick
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Are
Pick
you?
one task. And we call it one in the book, it's one play.
Yeah.
Define 3 plays, but just pick one and get somebody on your team that wants to be the advocate
Yep.
and then walk. Don't run, walk through it.
Yeah.
Have a win. You don't want to have a failure first, and you don't want
I
to
love that.
something that takes forever to get installed so nobody sees the win.
Yeah.
Do something that you can see a win in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. And I think too, like when you look at the whole thing, it can be daunting, right? And I think that's why people need experts like you to walk them through the steps. And I deal with new businesses all the time that just get overwhelmed with zoning,
Yeah.
regional building department requirements, and there's all this information. But my job as a broker is to walk them through and give them the information that they need, give them the big picture, and then say, here's how we're going to get there. And it sounds like that's a very similar approach that you guys take.
We do try and keep it to 5 steps, but the first one is clarify.
Mm.
Clarify what you have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you start to connect and connect to these systems, collect the data, and coordinate it all
Yeah.
before you do control.
Yeah.
It's not hard, it's tedious. And it's
Mhm.
not fast. It can be fast, but with fast comes expense and ability to fail.
Yeah.
So we like regular paced wins.
Yeah.
Not going to shock anybody. Let's knock it down. Like
Yeah.
every quarter, what are we going to do? Let's do
Yeah.
that together. And so think strategically about your digital infrastructure being an expense reduction tool
Yeah.
and a revenue increase tool. And there's a massive return in that.
Yeah.
Don't just buy something because you went to a trade show and hey, that looks cool.
Yeah.
No system. Prop tech is oversold, right? They're starting to see massive consolidation in that market. Commercial real estate tech is now what it used to be, prop tech, right?
Yeah.
And that industry is still needed, but you are the driver of your strategy.
Yeah.
That you
Absolutely.
still have to own the strategy for your property and your portfolio. So those other things are just tools.
Yeah.
So that's why we wrote the book as a playbook
Yeah.
and not a how to do AI. There's not a thing in there about how to do AI. Just
Yeah.
talking about how to be digitally prepared. So whenever you want to do AI, you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
So clarify what you have. There's a form in there. Just review what you have.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself. You don't
Right.
have to hire us. I know that's counterintuitive, but
No.
it's a big market. We can never capture the whole thing. We're
Yeah.
out to change the industry. We talk about it with owners and operators and financiers and vendors on the podcast we have too. So that's
Hmm.
why we were honored to be on yours.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. It's super informative. And I'm curious also too, as you're seeing slowly people start changing their minds, taking this leap, are there certain markets that tend to be a little bit more adaptable or a little bit more open to make the change?
The office market in the past year and a half has made a change because we saw those get hammered down from the pandemic,
Mhm.
right? They got
Mhm.
hammered, they got cheap. And then
Yeah.
the patient capital started buying them and they're doing some capital infusion to change those properties.
Yep.
Multifamily has always been open to it, but you'd be surprised how much hospitality likes it because they
Yeah.
have so many operating technology systems, operating
Yep.
systems in the building, so
Yep.
much common area, so many common that if they can get their arms around their OpEx, it moves the needle massively on their NOI.
Absolutely.
And it's not just Wi-Fi for the tenant. You're thinking about think about the laundry systems and food and
Right.
beverage systems and everything else in a hotel, even though
Hmm.
it from the outside it could be the same structure as a micro multifamily.
Right.
It's a very different business.
Yeah.
But the digital infrastructure is the same. The systems are different.
Yeah.
So we do see them moving faster to it,
Yep.
but that's one larger corporate tenant that understands the technology better, understands the architecture strategy.
Yeah.
So
And do you,
when you deal with medium-sized portfolios, that some get it and some want to get it, and it's just a slower path. But we are
yeah.
quite patient.
Yeah. You talked about that middle tier, so to speak, investor. I view it, you've got like your mom and pops that in my mind, I would imagine would probably be very slow to adapt to something like this, that they own a couple of buildings or something like that. Then that middle, and then you've got that more national credit, you've got the REITs, you've got the different
Yeah,
institutional money, so to
family
speak.
offices.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I feel like that middle section could be a very good target area. And how do you think they can start utilizing what you provide to up their game? Because maybe they don't want to stay in the middle class, maybe they want to move up. They want to start growing and expanding in that way.
pick one property and do it there. I know you run the risk of going into pilot spool, as we call it,
Yep.
but pick one. Pick a property either that you're going to trade and make the change beforehand, or one that
Yeah.
you're going to keep.
Yep.
Like the strategy to hold one for 10 years, especially in a tax zone, is
Mhm.
different than one you're going to trade in a year.
Right.
And or maybe do both and see the difference.
Yeah.
This is not a capital intensive process.
Right.
Do one where you maybe have a little capital infusion and do one where you have none.
Yeah.
See what's available from
Yeah.
the existing network you have, just different strategies. And when I
Yeah.
said network, I meant digital infrastructure, because these buildings have multiple networks.
Yeah.
So this isn't a pure software play. It doesn't have to be capital intensive.
Right.
But you tell us what the goals are and let us help you figure out in the clarify stage
Yeah.
what you have. And then there is a strategy.
Yeah.
Any progress is progress. It doesn't have to be a home run.
Right.
Don't
Right.
don't be scared of it just because it's not going to make $300.
Yep.
If it made you 50, would you still be happy? What
Yeah.
if I could change the utilities in your building $75 a unit? Wouldn't that make a difference?
Absolutely.
Why not start there?
Yeah. And I really like that. I didn't even think about the application of someone who's looking to trade it in a year or so, because I've got some investment properties on the market right now that some people like the operating expenses are so high. And I think, gosh, if you can lower those operating expenses and get a higher return, oh my gosh, like you're better positioned than most other
Well, we are
competition.
seeing buildings trade and the buyers are paying a premium for buildings that have a data lake with aggregated data from the operating systems.
Yeah.
It reduces the buyer's risk and it reduces the buyer's insurance, because the buyer can say to the underwriter, here's the number of water incidents I've had. Here's the number of, I don't know, burglary, break-ins, whatever, glass breakage I've had over the past X years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's worth more. We don't see it changing the cap rate and the NOI on that regard. We see people paying 6 digits or more for the data alone.
Wow. That's pretty
So
incredible.
you have to have a record of it. So if you're planning on it, you could just start collecting the data. I do tell you, when you start collecting data, you can't do machine learning. You can't apply some of these advanced analytics without a run rate. You need 6-9 months of data before it can have enough to actually start drawing correlations.
Yeah.
1 month is not enough. In your mind, it is not going to be an overnight fix.
Correct.
This is a patient we're like build for the long game. We say a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
That matters if you're going to sell it just as much as if you're going to keep it.
Yeah.
If you're going to build it, that's a really long game, and you can reduce your CapEx and maximize your NOI if you're going to build it.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been really fascinating, and I feel like we could keep talking some more because I've got a lot more questions, but I want to respect your time. But where can people find you, and what are some resources that you might have available that people can reach out to you and access?
The OpticWise.com, OpticWise.com. But the book is Peak Property Performance, just like it sounds.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm actually /Bill Douglas. So I'm the only resilience guy on LinkedIn, and I do answer them all. So reach out. We love having conversations. The whole reason we do the podcast and the book is because we're trying to elevate the industry.
Yeah.
It's a thought leadership platform. We don't sell anything.
Yep.
OpticWise will do it if you want to, but we don't have to. So we really believe that this industry we could use less utilities. We could take on, if you're going to think the long game from my perspective, we could reduce rents and still make the owner more money. That's my goal. I have kids that are paying rent.
Yeah.
I have kids 28 and 31, right? They've paid, one owns a house, one's still paying rent. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I think that from our country's perspective, we could tackle that by applying technology better. I know this technology works in other industries and has for decades.
Yeah.
We're applying it to a laggard in commercial real estate, who is the largest asset class in the world.
Amazing.
We're always this excited about it. Yes, we are.
As well, you should.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that we have where people can connect with you in the show notes when it comes out. And Bill, thank you again for your time and really appreciate your insights.
All right. Thanks, Caleb.
All right, everyone. We'll tune in for our next episode and follow, comment, and share it with your friends. Have a great one. If today's episode gave you valuable commercial real estate insights, subscribe, rate, and share it. Connect with me and the David Commercial Real Estate team through the show notes. Remember, real estate is more than buildings. It's about building community. See you next time.